Today, I thought I'd just do a quick summary of the top mobsters discussed here on the Past Crimes channel. They are not ranked in any way, but rather the top 10 videos I think is really significant for me. Please bear the following in mind. The information I will be providing about the mentioned mobsters is based on reliable and credible sources, including books, articles, and documentaries about the American Mafia. However, like any historical account, there may be varying interpretations of certain events or details, and some aspects of the mentioned person's life and career may be the subject of debate. Al Capone's rise to power began during the Prohibition era, when the sale and consumption of alcohol were illegal in the United States. He started out as a low-level member of a gang in Chicago, but quickly rose through the ranks due to his cunning and ruthlessness. Capone's criminal empire extended beyond bootlegging to include gambling and prostitution, which brought in enormous profits. He maintained control through violence and intimidation, with the infamous St. Valentine's Day Massacre in 1929 being one of the most brutal examples of his tactics. Despite his reputation as a ruthless criminal, Capone was also known for his charitable acts. During the Great Depression, he opened a soup kitchen in Chicago that fed thousands of people every day. Some have speculated that he did this as a way to improve his public image, but others argue that he genuinely wanted to help those in need. Capone's downfall came when he was convicted of tax evasion in 1931 and sentenced to 11 years in federal prison. He served most of his sentence in Alcatraz, where he suffered from syphilis and mental deterioration. He was released in 1939 but never regained his former power or influence. On January 22, 1947, Capone had a cardiac arrest, and on January 25, while his family was present and he was at home, he passed away from apoplexy. Albert Anastasia was a prominent member of the American Mafia during the mid-20th century. He was known for his cold-blooded demeanor and willingness to use violence to achieve his goals. As the head of Murder Incorporated, Anastasia oversaw a group of hitmen who were responsible for carrying out contract killings on behalf of the Mafia. He was involved in a number of other criminal activities as well, including gambling and labor racketeering. Despite his power and influence, Anastasia was not immune to the violence of the Mafia. In 1957, he was assassinated while getting a haircut in a barbershop in New York City. The circumstances surrounding his murder remain a mystery, and it is unclear who was responsible for the hit. Anastasia's life and death offer a glimpse into the brutal and ruthless world of organized crime in mid-century America. Arnold Rothstein was a notorious figure in the Prohibition era of New York City. He was a gambler and bootlegger who was involved in fixing the 1919 World Series, earning him the nickname The Brain. Rothstein was also a key figure in the development of the American Mafia, serving as a mentor to many of its top leaders. Despite his criminal activities, Rothstein was widely respected by his peers and was known for his charm and charisma. He was a mentor to many of the top leaders of the American Mafia, including Luciano and Meyer Lansky, and his influence can be seen in the organization's development in the years that followed. In November 1928, he was shot and killed in a Manhattan hotel, and the circumstances surrounding his death remain a subject of speculation to this day. Some believe that he was killed as part of a power struggle within the Mafia, while others believe that he was the victim of a simple gambling debt dispute. Regardless of the circumstances, his death marked the end of an era in American organized crime and paved the way for a new generation of criminal leaders to emerge. Carlo Gambino was a powerful American Mafia boss who rose to prominence in the mid-20th century. Born in Italy in 1902, Gambino immigrated to the United States as a young man and quickly became involved in organized crime. He was known for his intelligence, ruthlessness, and was considered one of the most successful mafia bosses of all time. Gambino's rise to power was marked by a number of high-profile criminal enterprises, including his rumored involvement in the assassination of mafia boss Albert Anastasia. Following Anastasia's death, Gambino took control of the Anastasia crime family, cementing his own power within the mafia. Under Gambino's leadership, the mafia became more organized and powerful than ever before. He was involved in numerous criminal activities, including extortion, racketeering, and illegal gambling. Gambino was also known for his ability to avoid law enforcement and was never convicted of a major crime during his lifetime. Gambino died in 1976, but his legacy as one of the most successful and feared mafia bosses in American history lives on. The Gambino crime family that he founded continues to operate to this day. Dutch Schultz was a notorious gangster who ruled over New York City during the Prohibition era. With his iron grip on bootlegging, gambling, and other illicit activities, Schultz became one of the most feared and powerful figures in the criminal underworld. His brutal methods and cunning tactics were unmatched, but his reign of terror came to an end when he became a target of both federal authorities and rival gangsters. In a desperate bid to protect himself, Schultz planned to have prosecutor Thomas E. Dewey assassinated, but his scheme was foiled. In 1935, Schultz was ambushed and gunned down in a Newark, New Jersey restaurant. Though he lived a life of crime and violence, Dutch Schultz remains a legend in the annals of American organized crime. Joe Masseria, also known as Joe the Boss, was a notorious gangster and one of the most powerful figures in the American Mafia during the early 20th century. Born in Sicily in 1886, he immigrated to the United States in 1902 and soon became involved in organized crime. By the 1920s, Masseria had risen to become a powerful mob boss in New York City, controlling a vast criminal empire that included bootlegging, gambling, and extortion. He was also known for his close ties to Lucky Luciano and other prominent gangsters of the time. However, Masseria's reign came to a violent end in April 1931 when he was assassinated at a restaurant in Coney Island. The killing, which was carried out by a group of rival gangsters led by his own associate, Charles Lucky Luciano, was a result of a power struggle within the mafia. The murder of Joe Masseria marked a turning point in the history of the American Mafia, paving the way for the rise of Lucky Luciano. Lucky Luciano, born Salvatore Lucania, was a Sicilian-American mobster who rose to become the father of modern organized crime in the United States. With his sharp mind and strategic thinking, Luciano restructured the American Mafia into a more efficient and profitable enterprise. He was the mastermind behind the creation of the Commission, a governing body that oversaw all mafia activities across the country. Luciano's power and influence were unparalleled, but he eventually fell from grace when he was arrested and convicted for prostitution charges. However, his legacy lived on as a pioneering figure in the world of organized crime. Luciano's life and legacy were portrayed in popular media, as well as the acclaimed TV series Boardwalk Empire. Meyer Lansky was a legendary figure in the world of organized crime. Born in Belarus in 1902, he immigrated to the United States with his family at a young age and quickly became involved in the criminal underworld. Lansky was a key figure in the development of the American Mafia and was known for his intelligence, business acumen, and ruthless tactics. Lansky was heavily involved in illegal gambling operations and was instrumental in the development of Las Vegas as a gambling destination. He was also a close associate of Lucky Luciano and played a key role in the establishment of the Commission, a governing body that oversaw the activities of the mafia in the United States. Despite his criminal activities, Lansky was never convicted of a major crime and was known for his ability to avoid law enforcement. He died in 1983, and his legacy continues as one of the most successful and powerful figures in the history of organized crime. Tommy Lucchese was a powerful American mafia boss who rose to prominence in the mid-20th century. Born in Italy in 1899, Lucchese immigrated to the United States as a young man and quickly became involved in organized crime. He was known for his quiet demeanor, political savvy, and ability to forge alliances with other criminal organizations. Under Lucchese's leadership, the Lucchese crime family became one of the most powerful and influential mafia organizations in the United States. Lucchese was involved in numerous criminal activities, including extortion, racketeering, and illegal gambling. He was also known for his loyalty to his associates and was respected and feared by other mafia bosses. The Lucchese crime family continued to operate after Tommy Lucchese's death in 1967 and was led by a succession of bosses, including Anthony Corallo, Vittorio Amuso, and Stephen Crea. Vito Genovese was an Italian-American mafia boss who rose to power during the mid-20th century. Born in Italy in 1897, Genovese immigrated to the United States as a young man and quickly became involved in organized crime. He was known for his ruthlessness, cunning, and ability to manipulate others. He became a capo in the Luciano crime family and later became a boss in his own right, leading the Genovese crime family. He was involved in a wide range of criminal activities, including extortion, racketeering, and drug trafficking. He was also notorious for his involvement in the murder of fellow mafia boss Albert Anastasia in 1957. Despite his criminal activities, he was eventually caught by law enforcement and served time in prison. He was convicted of narcotics conspiracy charges in 1959 and sentenced to 15 years in prison. Vito Genovese died in prison in 1969 at the age of 71.